This the Carousel, the host Al Flemings. Came to lock the game like my name Val Demings. Fantasy and flavors, new edition. The intro to the show is brought by True Ambition. Round and round we go, shouts out to Eric Wilson. Knowledge for your wins, all you gotta do is listen. Hungry for info, food for thought, got all your fixing. You know, FOO, value facts over opinion. 4-3-3-4, my defense beats off system. Injury report, winning while I'm grinning. Dominate the point of attack from the line of scrimmage. For long as you can't beat my squad, go gather all your minions. Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock 'em out.
Happy week 14, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Carousel. A little bit more comfortable environments. That way we can say what we want, but we don't have time to waste. We got a jam-packed show. Let's not waste any time. Let's go to the NFC East current leader, and let's talk to the Giants Alliance, David Soul.
Thanks so much for having me on the show, man. NFC East, first place. We started 1-7 this season, so we're about to be the first team ever to start 1-7 and make the playoffs. But I'm feeling good about how the Giants are playing right now.
All right, let's be honest with each other. No Danny Dimes, no Saquon Barkley, but you guys are in first place. Can you sustain this?
Honestly, I really think so, because great defense travels, and our defense is playing so well. We're going to be in any game that we play. Patrick Graham is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. He designs amazing coverages. Russell Wilson only scored 10 points when the Seahawks have been averaging 31 points a game. So that just shows you it wasn't a fluke win. This defense is for real. And Leonard Williams, 8.5 sacks. He's playing out of his mind in a contract year. So I do think it's the defense that's really carrying this team right now.
We saw that you guys got flexed for week, what was it, 15? Was it week 15 or 16? Cleveland versus New York? You guys actually bumped the Dallas Cowboys out of position. How do you feel about that?
It made it extra sweet to bump Dallas out of that game. I honestly always like the 1 o'clock games best. It's always the most fun for me to watch it. When I got work the next day, I hate staying up late and watching a primetime game. But to knock Dallas out of that game was pretty sweet, because they're not relevant anymore. They're out of it. It seems like they gave up on their head coach already, Mike McCarthy. They're not playing well at all. So that's going to be an awesome game, because I remember Baker Mayfield was talking trash when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones and said, sometimes teams overthink it. I can't believe the Giants drafted Daniel Jones. So it's going to be sweet to get a little bit of revenge. Jones should be healthy for that game. So I'm looking forward to it. I just wish Odell Beckham was playing, because he's obviously out for the season.
Last question before I let you go. Let's be honest with each other. Can you guys sustain what's going on with my apologies. Can you guys sustain the last 4 games of the season and keep that number 4 spot?
I think so. We have a tough schedule. Like, there's no easy games that we have left. We play Baltimore, we play Cleveland, Arizona. We're playing next. They're a tough opponent. And then we play Dallas at the end of the season. Dallas, I think, is the only easy game we have left. But I really think we're going to make the playoffs. I think we'll probably go 2-2 in these last 4 games. I think 7 games should win us the division. Even though Washington beat Pittsburgh, I don't see them sustaining their success. I think the Giants, if we make the playoffs, I think we're going to be a tough out in the first round. I think we're one of those teams nobody wants to play. And my preferred opponent is actually Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay would lose to the Giants in that rematch in the cold weather, Giant Stadium. I just think that we're built for the playoffs. We got good defense, good run game. That would be awesome to play Tampa in the first round.
David Solo, let the people know who you are, where they can find you, and what you do.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I love talking football with you. This is awesome. Please go to my website, nygiantsalliance.com. I write articles at least once a week. Follow me on Twitter at Giants Alliance. Yeah, I'm a huge Giants fan, so I create a lot of Giants content on there, and definitely check out my website.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being on the Carousel. Let's go from New York to New York, because I got to ask Mark Lanzer a question. Let's bring in our Jets representative.
Hey, what's going on, Al?
Mark, I'd like to say this is on good terms, but I'm going to be honest with you. What the hell was that?
You know what? I don't even know what the hell that was. Greg Williams. Listen. We know, and everybody has known this for years, that he's very aggressive with his defensive play calling. But a cover zero on an obvious Hail Mary with 9 seconds to go in the game. What the hell was he thinking? I think the only explanation I have is he wanted to get the hell out of there. And who would have thought that Adam Gase would play Greg Williams? I certainly didn't. And that's another thing. Adam Gase, he has the authority to override that play call. We had timeouts in the bag. Call a timeout, Adam. Call a timeout. It's mind-blowing. It really is, man. And it's infuriating. It pisses me off. I don't like watching my team lose week in, week out. It sucks.
Okay, so it's obvious you guys are tanking for Trevor Lawrence. Blah. Adam Gase tweeted that, hey, we almost won that one. Still a perfect season intact. And then Trevor Lawrence is like, maybe another year in college isn't so bad. And then Adam Gase replies, see you in 2022, sugar. Bruh.
Wow.
Bruh.
Bro, I mean, listen, Adam Gase cannot, under any circumstances, be the head coach starting next year. It's bad enough he hasn't been fired yet this year. They can't keep him on. That would be maddening. Jet fans would be burning jerseys, and they'd be selling their season tickets. This is not what I expected. It just, every time I say to myself, oh, it can't get any worse, the Jets go out there and they say, hold my beer.
Do me one favor and answer the question. Is the Jets going to win one game this year?
To be honest with you, no, I don't think so. You look at the rest of the schedule, and really, I think our best chance to win a game, and who would have thought this, would probably be week 17 when we go up to New England and play the Patriots. I mean, this season, it's been hell for me. It's been a living hell. And I'm actually at that point where it's like, just get it over with, go in 16, draft Trevor Lawrence, and go from there. Because, coming up on Sunday, dude, we're going to have to play the Seahawks. And Jamal Adams, he's got the taste of blood in his mouth. And he's gonna be going after Sam all friggin' day.
Mark Lanzer, Jets representative. Let the people know who you are and where they can find you.
I'm Mark Lanzer. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/LM0N3Y as in L Money. I've been doing Jet video blogs for the last 5 seasons now. I haven't done any real videos recently. I kind of put a boycott down. I said, no more Jet videos until Adam Gase gets fired or we win a game. So hopefully one of the two happens soon, because right now, man, I don't see it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, you can find me on Facebook, and hopefully some good content will be coming your way, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being on the Carousel. I need some smoke. I do believe that the quarterback that should have been drafted to Chicago is playing a team that hasn't won a game in about a month and a half. Let's get to it. Can I have Houston H-Town Wheelhouse's own Brett Chauncey and Chicago Bears representative Eddie B.W.? Will you? Yes? No? Okay, then fine. I know John Turner's in the house. If I can't have Houston and Chicago, please bring in John Turner.
Carousel,
Yeah,
carousel,
yeah.
carousel. This the carousel. On or you off, either you're on or you're off, either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out. Carousel,
Yeah,
carousel,
yeah.
carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off, either you're on or you're off, either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out.
Let's try this again. Do we have Eddie BW in the house? Chicago Bears representative on. Hi.
How's it
How
going?
you doing? Bro, you got a tough matchup this week. You got the Houston Texans who are looking to try to revitalize their whole little season. What's going down?
I mean, it comes down to this. The Bears defense has to show up. They haven't done it in the past 2 weeks, and it's been a killer for them. I mean, granted, you look at the end of the last game, Mitch has got to be sick about that fumble. Offense has got to be sick about that fumble. OC's got to be sick about that fumble. I'm sick about that fumble. Hopefully we've learned from that and won't make a stupid play call like that up the end of the game again.
What the hell happened to the Chicago Bears?
Like I said, it really just comes down to the defense. Go all the way back to Monday night against the Vikings 3 weeks ago. And pretty much since then, they just haven't been the same. It really kind of showed its face against the Packers and then even more so against the Lions. This is still a great defense, right? This is still kind of a generational type defense that you're not going to see for very much longer, right? Their window is kind of closing on that. Great defenses have bad games. It's just unfortunate that they start having bad games when the offense finally starts to figure things out.
Okay, so Houston, Deshaun Watson, the quarterback that should be in Chicago. What's the plan to slow him down?
Well, look, everybody knows he's athletic. That's one of the things I really liked about him and was hoping to see him in a Bears uniform because of that. And he can get out of sacks, so that pass rush, even if it does show up, might not be enough. The secondary is looking great. Will Fuller is out, who's been his top receiver this year. But I keep thinking back to when they played the Chiefs last year, Chicago did, and Patrick Mahomes is great, but he came out with something a little bit extra, knowing that the Bears had passed on him. So that's going to be the piece that they're going to have to account for. And I don't really know how you account for that, but I have a feeling Deshaun Watson's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder coming into Chicago this week.
Now, it's a good thing I don't have H-Town Wheelhouse in tonight because he'd have something to say to you because Romeo Crennel's got them boys playing right, if you know what I mean. And Chicago, they looking like a lap dog. It's not funny. It's actually kind of sad because we started 5-1 and now, reality.
Well, either way you look at it, if they win out, they're going to need some help, but they could still get in the playoffs. So there's a positive to winning. And if they lose, that's a negative, but hey, their draft stock keeps improving. There's everywhere you see a negative, there's a positive and vice versa, because even if they do get a high draft pick, I don't trust Ryan Pace enough to make good decisions with that draft pick. So it's all really kind of up in the air for right now. I'm trying to be as positive as I possibly can about this.
All right, last question. Since there's no Brett, you got lucky. I hope he jumps in because I know he's going to want smoke. Since there's no Brett, give me a prediction for the game. How do you see it turning out?
Oh, man. I expect the Bears defense to show up and actually show something this week. So I'm thinking probably 14, 21 points, somewhere in there for the Texans would be probably about right. And, hey, this offense has been rolling. The run game's finally going against the Lions. But, hey, that's more than they've done all year. So thinking about another 30 from the Bears this week, 30-14, probably somewhere in there.
All right. I'm going to let you go. If Brett jumps in, I want you back, sir, because you two need to talk.
I'll do the best I can for you.
Do me a favor, Eddie. Let the people know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Ben Wayer. You can find me at BDT Football on Twitter, and you can check out our podcast, Big Dudes in the Trenches podcast. It's on Apple, Google, Podbean, pretty much anywhere. I think we're still working on Spotify, but I'll let you know when we get there.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you. Go ahead and jump out because we got plenty of people who want to jump in. All right. Now, for those who are unaware, we got a full roster tonight. So I'm going to do a little bit of an HQ and round the back, come back. If John Shear, and look at that. Bruh, I could have used you about 30 seconds ago. How you doing, H-Town Willhouse?
Man, I'm doing good, brother. I'm ready for this Christmas break.
I bet school is kicking your butt. All right, so I heard Eddie's prediction. He's saying Chicago's going to pull it out, but it's going to be close. They got to get a pass rush on Deshaun Watson. What say you on Houston versus Chicago?
Well, I hate that I missed them because I had a little my own version of the Super Bowl shuffle to reminisce back to 1985, the last time they won that big Super Bowl. And I think the Texans win this week, 27-21. Okay. But I mean, I don't know if you remember that song, like "We Are the Bears, Shuffling Crew, Shuffling On Down." You remember that, right?
I remember that.
So let's try this. You are the Bears, Shuffling Crew, shuffling through QBs, because that's what you do. Haven't been relevant for quite some time. You guys against us are 0-4. Oh, wait, that doesn't rhyme. But I can tell you what does. Deshaun Watson getting that dub. Our center may screw up a snap or two, but Nick Foles, he ain't good, and Trubisky too, because you know that's true. So get ready for the 6th straight loss and send me a jersey on the back that reads "Boss." That's all I got to say about that.
H-Town Willhouse rapping on y'all. That's so. See, I'm glad Eddie jumped out because he'd be cussing at you right now. All right, now playoffs are unattainable because there's too many people in the race. How do you see Houston finishing off their season?
I think their next game against the Colts, I think they pull out and win. They should have won this last week. I know, our secondary is hurting. I know he was without Will Fuller. But man, that snap by Nick Martin was you want to talk about killing a game. That snap, when you snap to the left of your knee and your hands are up here. And Deshaun Watson, I don't know if you saw his press conference afterwards. I mean, he looked like
he was hurt.
He looked like upset Deshaun Watson after they lost to Alabama that first time. And so, it's just one of those things where I think the rest of the way, I think they probably go 500 with their remaining games. If they won this last week, I think it's very plausible to say that they gained some steam and possibly went out. But I don't know, man. It's been a tough year. I think we got through hurdle number one with Bill O'Brien being gone. But did you see the latest on DeAndre Hopkins? That apparently Easterby, who is now one of the acting executives, was one of the most vocal and wanted Hopkins out of Houston. And now everybody's calling for Easterby's head. So McNair has got his work cut out for him. And I just hope that stuff like that isn't a distraction for the rest of the team, because I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to limp to the finish. We're just gonna take it on the chin sometimes. I think we'll get some dubs, but I think we'll have more losses than wins, or 500 at best.
Jerry Vistola says you guys need to stop playing games, lose the rest of your games, so that way the Miami Dolphins have better draft picks. What do you have to say to Jerry?
Well, I cannot believe we gave up so much for so little. Tunsil's great, but really, like, I don't know if it was a subliminal thing, like he was trying to hurt the Texans long term. I think Bill O'Brien got together with Daryl Morey and they said, let's just make a bunch of crappy decisions and either get fired or walk. And the most stable club right now is the Houston Astros. And they've been stable for a while, but you would think with all the things they got going on that they wouldn't have stability. Justin Verlander's out and all those guys. But man,
that's a sticky subject, and we were going to get into basketball, but not right now. That's a next week conversation. I'll have you on
yes,
next
sir.
week, and we'll have a little segment about that. All right?
Oh, I got a lot to say about Harden because, man, I was on the Harden train for a long time, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Brett Chauncey, H-Town Wheelhouse. Let the people know where they can find you.
All right, y'all can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Strohs411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Strohs. I'm your guy to get the connections with the Texans, the Astros, and the Rockets. So check me out on Twitter.
Damn right. Damn right. Now, I would be amiss. Thank you, Brett. I would be amiss if I didn't mention that, A, I think I might have said something about there being an upset last week that happened this week. B, it's a football world, and we just live in it. Can we enter in the 11-0 killer Washington football team's own John Turner?
The Grim Reaper of 2020.
Welcome, Mr. Turner. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you. How are you?
Man, it's been a long week, and I got to drive to Jacksonville so that way they can deal with the Mad Titan on Sunday. But that's Sunday. That's not now. This is your time to gloat. I'm going to just give you 2-3 minutes. Get stuff off your chest, sir.
Well, both teams came into the game leading the league against the pass, and both teams proceeded to pass the ball relentlessly. Washington had about 296. Big Ben threw for about 310, somewhere in that range. Out of characteristics for both teams, back seven or secondary in general. But you got to do what you got to do because Washington stoned Pittsburgh's running game for a grand total of 21 yards. I haven't seen anything like that since Washington shut down who was that monster with the big dreadlocks? He needed 24 yards to get to 1,000 that year, and they stoned him for about 20 or 21 in Dallas. But and then Pittsburgh shut down Washington's running game. We only had about 41 or 40 some odd yards on the night, but and they lost their number one running option and number two option in the air in Antonio Gibson early. I mean, as the second carry of the game, he was a nice run, 13 yards, made a couple guys miss, turf toe, gone. See you later. Have a good night. Force your team to change the game plan. They had to figure out how they were going to run with a new two-headed monster in Peyton Barber and J.D. McKissick. And it took them about a quarter and a half worth of deadbeat drives to figure it out. But man, oh man, their first scoring drive, they kicked that field goal. An incredible, Alex Smith has to have an IQ of 200 to get up off the ground and take the ball with you to the sideline, forcing the referees to bring in the K-ball, creating the communication. They had to stop the clock, reset the clock, let the Washington set up, and he boots it through. Just an incredible, mind, in understanding the time and where you are on the field by Alex Smith. And that's why he's the starting quarterback right now. But their first touchdown scoring drive, they started to get it together on offense and moving the ball, using some choice plays they weren't using in the first half. And that turned out to be truly a tale of two halves between these two teams. Defense got tougher against Pittsburgh, stopped them on drives. They couldn't score anymore. And Washington comes away with the W. So you had a 14-3 first half, and then you had a 14-3 second half, essentially, or a 20-3 second half. And that's how you win football games in the NFL.
All right, so your next opponent is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, don't get it twisted. They're getting healthy now. Nick Mullins is not Jimmy Garoppolo. But why do I see this being a trap game for the Washington football team?
one thing that Ron Rivera said after the game, one thing that he was preaching was humility. We don't want to let our heads get too big, come in here and beat a highly competitive team, what everybody was considering the best team in football up until Sunday. Now everybody's saying that they stink because they lost to Washington, and they've had a couple of close ones this past month. But San Francisco is a completely disciplined, different animal. They are a tough team. They are missing a lot of pieces right now. They've got 6 guys that are questionable or doubtful so far coming into this game. We've got some guys questionable, including 2 on the line. That's Morgan Moses and Brandon Sheriff. That's both starting right side guard and tackle on their offensive line. And luckily, they're without a lot of those great defensive linemen in San Francisco. So maybe that evens itself out a little bit. But as far as a trap game is concerned, I don't think Washington is a good enough team to fall into a trap game. They still understand they control their own destiny and they need to win these games. And I don't think that they think they're so great that they're the greatest 5-7 team to ever play, football. I don't think you can think that way when you're 5-7. So I think they will be motivated for this game, and I think they will game plan correctly for the 49ers. And you're right. I don't think Nick Mullins is going to all of a sudden turn into Joe Montana between now and Sunday, or Jimmy Garoppolo for that matter.
Terry McLaurin, 2 catches, 14 yards. They pretty much bottled him up. Thank goodness for Logan Thomas. Is Logan Thomas going to take pressure off of Terry McLaurin before I let you go?
I said it last week and maybe even the week before. They are finding unique ways to get Logan Thomas involved more and more for the past 3 or 4 games in a row now. Once again, he was going to take a direct snap. A crazy play that they drew up. Wide receiver Inman didn't pick up his block, so it looked like a blown up play or a bad play call. But it was actually a pretty neat play call that I've never seen before. But it just didn't work. I do believe that they are turning him into a regular tight end. They are creating the best Greg Olsen scenario they can with him. And he's not the fastest tight end. He doesn't have the surest hands. He's not the toughest. He's not going to block you off the grass, but he can do everything that they ask him to do pretty good. And he's improving week after week after week. And when you're a young team, and you're a building team and a rebuilding team and all that, searching for identity, that's all you can ask for is a little bit of improvement every week. And that's what the whole team is doing collectively right now. And they're looking like they could compete with just about anybody except maybe Kansas City.
All right. Mr. Turner, you already know I miss you. Happy holidays. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, happy holidays. Footballworld.com. Right now I'm putting together a realignment of college football's conferences and the structure in which they operate. So that's going to be the next one to come out for me. Footballworld.com, a Football World discussion group on Facebook and anywhere online. It's got the name of Football World. You best bet that my name's connected to it some way, somehow. So, Alex, thanks again for having me, and go Washington.
Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out. Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out.
So Thursday night football, Rams, Patriots. Let's not waste any time. Bring them in. Bring them out. Bring them out. How you doing, Playmaker?
What's going on?
How you doing, Sean? Can I hear you, Sean?
My bad, man. Doing well. How are you? I had the
Pretty
mute
good.
button off on my mic.
Not a problem. Sean, you're the road team. Playmaker, you're the home team. New England needs this game just a touch more than the Rams. So, Sean, you started off armchair. Bring it home.
Well, I mean, I think we all know at this point with New England, it's not going to be pretty. I mean, They are on a little bit of a winning streak, 4 out of the last 5 games, and you know what? They've had to earn them. They haven't played much better than the competition. I mean, obviously, a little different in the game that they just played in San Diego. I mean, that was unexpected and if anything, a huge confidence boost, something they needed right now at 6-6, back at 500. But what I've seen from them those last 4 wins, I mean, +5 in turnover differential in the 4 wins. I mean, they're doing the little things right. So, I mean, add on that boost of confidence. They're minimizing mental mistakes. It looks like they kind of got back to basics, like Bill's emphasizing the special teams and the defense again. And you saw that obviously against the Chargers last week. But, I mean, you're seeing them fight and claw and just find ways to win in spite of an offense that seems to spin their wheels a lot at times. I mean, same venue as they played in last Sunday. A little bit of familiarity there with the atmosphere. So, I mean, I see them finding ways to win. Obviously, limiting the home run plays for the Rams will be a big thing, like they have been doing against Arizona and like they did against Baltimore. I think they have a good shot in this game, and it just looks like that they're trending up and they're going in the right direction as an entire team right now.
Hey, thank you for the time saver, Darnell. Rams 8-4, currently leading the division. Speak on it.
It's a good thing we're leading the business. Thanks to the New York Giants for doing the impossible up in Seattle. But let's get right down to business here. The people of Ram Nation, that includes St. Louis to LA, we haven't forgot what the Patriots have done to us over the years. They have smacked us in the first Super Bowl, the birth of the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era. They gave us an ass whooping over in London, 45-7. And then, everybody's talking about what took place 2 years ago in the last Super Bowl. Lowest scoring Super Bowl, highest scoring offense only can score 3 points. And we got beat by 10. There's no time, no place. Sean McVay is on the hot seat for this one. Jared Goff is on the hot seat for this one. Aaron Donald remembers. Aaron Donald's coming from Cam Newton, like Cam Newton's Tom Brady. That's how Aaron Donald's seeing it right now. Jalen Ramsey's in the backfield. He waiting for Cam Newton to throw one of them bad passes so he can pick it off. Oh, by the way, my rookie safety, Fuller from the Ohio State, he's a ball hawk. My other rookie, Darius Williams, he's another ball hawk. We have a ball hawk in secondary. We're not playing no games this time. We know what we're dealing with. It's December. It's Bill Belichick. It's New England Patriots. We got to win this game. We have a thin margin for error, a very thin margin for error right now.
He's sounding pretty serious there, Sean. He had a lot to say. He feeling some type of way. 45 seconds, bro. Do what you got to do.
Well, if you want to talk about margin for error, I mean, the Patriots have literally no margin for error. So, I mean, every game they play from now on out is win or go home. I mean, they have a very, very thin line that they can walk to make the playoffs. If everything works out in their favor, all they got to do is take their business and keep winning ball games. Yeah, you want to say 8-4 Rams. I mean, they've only beaten 2 teams with a winning record. So, I mean, 8-4 looks good on paper, but realistically, this could be a tough game for the Rams coming. I mean, just what he mentioned, the psychological factor, the last 3 times they've played. And then if you think about it this way, I mean, Patriots come out, they're playing for their lives, punch them right in the mouth, 23-20 Pats.
Oops. Playmaker, you heard him. You got the last word.
See, what's not going to happen is what took place in the Super Bowl. That's not going to happen. We have a much better defense this go around. Matter of fact, our defense is ranked 2nd in the league. So best believe Cam Newton is going to feel that pressure, and he's going to feel the pain. Now, Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick. No disrespect. But guess what? Sean McVay, he's cooking up something. And best believe that defense that the Pats is coming together with, oh, y'all going to rue the day that y'all walked in our stadium last week and beat the holy hell out of the Chargers. We're going to put some respect back in our brand new stadium name tonight. Best believe it. And we are tired of losing to y'all.
Damn. All right. Armchair. Sean, let the people know who you are and where they can find you.
I'm Sean Verhadian, member of the Armchair Sports Guys. We do a live show on Facebook Wednesday night at 7, every Saturday morning at 11. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, the Armchair Sports Guys, and on Twitter at armchair_guys. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. Playmaker, do your thing.
I am the host of. I'm the leader of the Blade Makers Bar brand. That's you can see it right now. That is my Ramley Talk podcast right here. I go in every week, talk about the Rams, previous week, what's coming up. I lay it all on the line. Podcast is available on all podcast platforms. You can find me on Facebook at D20 Playmaker and social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of it.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the smoke. Nice tonight. Now, we went from smoke to a team that's lacking smoke. Can you bring in our Dallas Cowboys representative, Megan Price?
Hola.
How you doing, Megan?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Love the hair.
Thank
What
you.
I don't love is Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, and 294 yards rushing. How can you explain almost 8 yards a clip?
8 yards a clip. Well, I mean, our rush defense has been bad since 2015, so I don't really have an excuse for it other than we're horrible. I'm going to quote Tomlin and say we suck.
Okay. What was it about Baltimore that gave you guys such issues other than the running game that you guys couldn't stop?
Well, I'll say this. In the first half, we were competitive. And, as far as the Baltimore defense, I felt like we looked pretty competitive considering how injured we are. But that second half, the finishing factor, that's where we're slacking completely. And just as soon as I was ready to say, I think that we need to bench Jalen Smith, he had 7 tackles and 5 assists.
How do you bench your best linebacker?
He's not our best. Jalen Smith doesn't play good football.
Ouch. All right. Now, you guys got a gimme game this Sunday against Cincinnati.
Oh, for sure. I feel like Andy's going to rally against his former team. Absolutely.
What's the snowball's chance that Cincinnati beats Dallas? What percentage would you give it?
25%.
Okay, 25% chance. That's fair. Let's talk about draft picks because I think you and I can both agree that you're not winning the division.
No, absolutely not. I think we're going to be aiming for the 4th or the 5th draft pick. Defense. Which I'm not sorry that we drafted CeeDee Lamb. I feel like he's the shining Cowboy at the moment. He's top 3 in his draft class. Absolutely. We had to take him because he was available, but we got we got to focus on defense.
Corner, linebacker, or safety?
Corner.
Ouch. Corner. Well, we can both agree on that. Corner.
I mean, we need all those. I really feel like right before this game, I really felt like we needed to bench Jalen and just kind of send a message that he had been slacking, honestly. If LVE is not in the game, he doesn't play well. He is likable as far as with the other players, but he's missing tackles left and right. Then this game, he had 7 tackles and 5 assists. So he did well. We did awful. 3 missed field goals. That is
Greg Zuerlein's supposed to be good too, but hey. One last thing before I let you go.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and think Dallas wins this game.
Okay.
How do they win it, and what's the final score?
I've got the final score 20-13 with us up. I think that since he gets 2 touchdowns, 1 field goal, I think we finish this with 2 field goals and 2 touchdowns. I really think Andy's going to rally against his former team. He's going to come in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I don't like the man, but hopefully he comes in and plays well.
Megan Price, let the people know who you are and where they can find you.
Well, everyone, I'm Megan Price. You can find me predominantly on Facebook. I talk anything from tennis, track, basketball, football, whatever you want to talk about. Soccer, love it. Look me up on Facebook and we can talk sports anytime you want to.
All right. Thank you for having us. Thank you for jumping on. I need some more smoke in my life. Now, there's a team down in South Beach that I should cover more because they're kind of hot right now with or without Tua time. And they're playing the defending champions. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Can you bring in Jerry Pistola for me, please? Jerry.
What's going on, Alex? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, sir? Glad to see you. It's Tua time, bro. You know what time it is.
Man, they're making a strong push right now, making some dreams come true and looking okay. He's getting better every week. Like to see a little bit more opening up in the playbook, but we'll see how that works out,
Too bad this isn't college, because if it was college, I'd be pulling for Tua. This is the pros, and you know who you're facing this week. Please bring in the Kansas City representative, Kerry Johnson.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
All right, now you know what this is. Kansas City traveling to Miami, correct?
Yes, they are.
All right, so champions speak first. Kerry, minute 30. Go.
All right, so I know that two is stepping up and Dolphins are coming around, but let's be real. He is just now getting his feet wet. He's got lots of potential, but we still know that he's going to be coming against a secondary that's coming into their shoes, growing into it, becoming more solid. And really, he's going to be having to go up against the Honey Badger, who has 3 picks in 2 weeks. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a problem for Tua. And then he's going to have to score every time he comes in, because that's what we're going to do, is we're just going to come in and score. I think my boys have kind of feel like a little shut out of the red zone this last week. Once was a caught football that no one realized, and the other one was a pullback because of a holding. So I really feel like you're going to see that the Chiefs are there ready to punch it in the red zone this time and not be struggling to get into the end zone.
You feeling better, by the way? Because I know that you were a little bit down, but you look great. You feeling better?
Oh, I am feeling better. Thank you very much.
No worries, no worries. I try to keep in touch. Jerry, it's Tua time.
Oh, man. All right. So let's just start off with the fact that, we do have one of the scariest secondaries in the NFL right now. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Noah Bogeen, they're all playing great level now. Obviously, we've got Howard, who is leading the NFL in interceptions right now. Probably get a couple more this week. A word I don't like to use, but it kind of feels like it. And obviously, with the past that Miami has had and playing the Super Bowl champs, it's that phrase, a trap game. Kansas City's going to come in thinking they're going to walk all over the new guy. But, Tua's been making some good moves. And with our defense being able to hold us in the game, as long as we convert some of our scores, because like you said, we're going to have to get down the field and score almost every time. But we've done that in these games that we've played. And so we turn a few of those field goals into touchdowns instead. I'm predicting some big things from Miami, especially after those fights last week as well. They're going to come pumped. Kirk out there to choke some people out. I think that locker room's ecstatic right now, and it's just going to be hyped. They're going to come out and punch Kansas City in the mouth in our own stadium.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say anything. He basically said, we're going to choke out Kansas City. We're going to stretch that ketchup. Kerry, what you got to say?
Well, I think he mentioned 2 or 3 people in his defense that he felt was really strong. Let's see. Let's count offense. We have Mahomes that runs. We have Kelsey. We have Nicole. We have Clyde. We have Le'Veon. We have the Cheetah. I mean, how many of those how many of those can they cover at one time? Really, it's very hard to cover. It's more just making sure that we let Denver stay in the game a whole lot longer than we should. And I think you're going to see that the holding calls and all that's going to be tightened up, and it's going to be very hard. You cannot cover all the scoring options that Kansas City has. I just don't see it happening. So, yeah, you may have a good, strong secondary, but.
All right, so she's name dropping. She said Money, Cheetah, Nicole, Patty. What's the plan against this all-star offense.
Well, the Denver dropped the ball, let them stay in too long. Tampa Bay comes to mind the week before. Oakland comes to mind the week before that, and we know how bad they've been. Carolina, woo, that was a squeaker. So you can't come in like they've been dominant. The past few games, Kansas City's been suspect, and they've been playing much weaker defenses. We don't have a strong defense. We have an elite defense right this season. They're taking games as any way that they can. Taking the ball. Yep, you guys have some great playmakers. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in the game. In fact, is putting up just barely below the top wide receiver. But with Howard shutting down one side of the field, you're not going to be able to get anything or throw it to Byron Jones. Who are you going to throw to?
Hey, I'm going to be watching this matchup because this does smell like a trap game. Kansas City is number 2 by virtue of the fact that Pittsburgh hasn't lost a divisional game. If you guys lose this game to Miami not only catapults themselves in the playoffs, but you guys are locked in on the number 2 seed. I'm interested to see how this is going to go. Ladies first. Carrie, let the people know who you are and where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Carrie Johnson. I'm out there. Look me up. I love me some cheese. Have for many years. And I'm excited about this game. I'm ready to see what happens, but I don't think that we're going to have to worry about the final score.
Hey, my name is Jerry V. You can find me at SNS Sports Cards on Facebook or at the stadium. Season ticket holder. I'm down there rooting for the Dolphins every time they're in town. I'll put a score on the game. By halftime, we're up 21-3. By the end of the game, it'll probably be 32-17.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out. Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out.
So other teams came to tapping and thinking that there wouldn't be a trapping, as a raven came napping at my chamber door. Please bring in John Shear.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. Now, too many people try to kick dirt on my man El Freaky, and for some odd reason, he had 94 yards rushing, 107 yards passing, acquired 3 touchdowns, and led a team that had 294 yards rushing. That demoralizes defenses. So I'm thinking, wouldn't this be one of the most dangerous teams if they make the playoffs?
Yes, you're right. But they did face a JV team this past week, so I mean, I have to, So we need stiffer competition. I mean, they get another get well game this week. I mean, Cleveland, come on. I mean, I know they're 9-3, but did you look at what happened when Baltimore faced them earlier in the year? Baker Mayfield, no.
Okay, now let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest. Look, this is the first time that they've had a winning record since 2007.
Oh,
Baker Mayfield is
congratulations.
trying to catch up with his commercials wins. All right.
All right, let me go get a gold. Let me go get a
seriously.
gold star for them because they're not used to this.
All right, fair enough. COVID ravaged the team. J.K. Dobbins is for real. How do they get back into the picture where people see them with respect?
The Ravens. Oh, I mean, the Ravens are right there, 7-5. The only teams they lost to are Pittsburgh. They lost to Kansas City. So they really only lost to the best of the best. Other than that, they've taken care of business and they have a cake schedule the rest of the way. I mean, this team should really get rolling these last 4 games. And remember, the last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl, they were the 6th seed. And they went to Denver, and the history with Joe Flacco, winning the Super Bowl. So the Ravens have a history of going on the road and winning Super Bowls, going on the road and rolling through the playoffs, and then getting that Super Bowl. So I'm just saying, you don't want the Ravens to go on the road, and Lamar Jackson doesn't have to feel the pressure of being a number 1 seed and being in front of his home crowd like the last 2 years, that's actually not a bad recipe. The pressure is not on Lamar. That's a good recipe for success for the guy, right?
I actually met Lamar Jackson and interviewed him, and he appreciates haters. People calling him a running back playing the quarterback position. All he's going to do is ball. And I wrote a nice tutorial about how he's just replicating what he did in Louisville. Is Lamar Jackson one of those quarterbacks that plays better on the road than at home?
Yeah, I think he does. I think that pressure of being at home and pleasing the fans was a little much from in the playoffs. So, like I said, I really think that he's going to enjoy being on the road, and they're playing with house money if they're a 6 or 7 seed. I mean, what do they really have to lose if you're a wild card team, you're the team trying to upset, whoever you're facing. So I think the Ravens will eventually kind of embrace this road team, kind of like they did in the Joe Flacco days when all they did was go on the road and win games.
All right, last question before I let you go. Do we see Des Bryant next week or no?
I don't think so. I think I think he's tired of this COVID stuff. I think he just wants to be done, with all of it. And how they do this, where they just kind of pull him at the last second, is kind of weird, kind of fishy, and not really fair to just say this to one guy and say, hey, we're just going to pull you from the game. I mean, he was hugging people before the game, close contact in the locker room with people, and you're not going to pull them. I mean, they're potential high risks, right? I mean, they're as close as you could get contact wise, but none of it makes sense. And I have a question: Where's the Cleveland Browns? Monday Night Football. I don't see no Cleveland Browns because they're not showing up here, just like they won't show up on Monday night. Frauds. They're frauds. I'm calling it right now. just like the Rams are frauds too. You can book that. The Rams frauds.
Ooh. Journey with the J Zone, John Shear. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Real 1100 AM 6 to 7 Thursday nights, and then Sundays at noon from 12 to 12:30. You can find us on Real 1100 AM, WWWEE AM in Atlanta. You can search that if you're in Atlanta. If not, then just download the Real 1100 app and you can listen to us there. Find me on Twitter, BlueHawks13. That's about it. I cover the Ravens here, and it's getting spicy. This cake schedule, I'm ready because teams are just overlooking the Ravens. Watch out.
Amen. Amen. I'll keep in touch. Journey with the Jays. Hot boys over there with my man JB Ellis. Going from hot to still hot. Not quite chili hot, but still simmering. I want to enter in the 13-year-old phenom, Daniel Paquetego. How you doing, Daniel?
There you go. How are you doing, Alex? I'm doing fine.
Hey, look, it was bound to happen. There's no such thing as undefeated in the NFL. You got that monkey off your back, but now you're facing a Buffalo Bills squad that people are overlooking and not giving the proper respect. You're lucky I can't find Mookie Hawkins. So, young man, speak freely. Tell me how you feel about the loss and how you guys are going to bounce back.
Last week we lost. We had millions of drops. Deontay Johnson doesn't know how to catch a football, nor does Eric Ebron. He dropped a lot of first down conversions. He dropped third downs that could have easily drove us into the red zone. But I don't know. Their jugs machine aren't working. Why aren't they practicing catching footballs? They just keep on TikToking and recording videos. They gotta get there in the gym and catching footballs. And the defense was pretty solid actually. Um, Last week against Washington. Washington isn't a very great defense, but Antonio Gibson was out, and we shut down Terry McLaurin, who's been exploding throughout this entire year. He's been great receiving. He's been great scoring for them. He's been Alex Smith's number one target, and we basically shut him down. But Logan Thomas was lighting our defense. And the thing that we have to do to win this next game is, Josh Allen can run out of the pocket. He's quick. He's fast. He's like Patrick Mahomes somehow. He can get out of the pocket. He's a cannon arm, and we need to guard Stephon Diggs has been great this season. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have been very, very phenomenal. It's words cannot describe. They're probably the best wide receiver quarterback duo this season. You know,
Oh, there's
and the
no
way with this,
question about it. Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill are both 1,000-yard receivers, and we know what Patrick Mahomes is. But I believe Josh Allen has thrown for 300 yards 6 times. He is second behind Cam Newton in touchdowns rushing. He hasn't turned over the ball in the red zone his entire career. And Stephen Ness has 90 receptions and is a 1,000-yard receiver. And if it wasn't for a Herculean effort by Tyreek Hill against the Tampa Bay Bucks, would be the leading receiver in the AFC. So please believe that Pittsburgh defense has their hands full.
yeah, we really do, and I think that we need to change the play caller. Randy Fickner, he's just keeping the same plays over and over again. Quick passes, slant routes, screens. It's just the same all over. We need to take deep shots down the field. Ben Roethlisberger has been very great in the pocket this season. He can escape. He can make plays. And I don't know what's wrong with Randy Fickner. He's very conservative. We should make Matt Canada the play caller, to be honest. Matt Canada he's very good. He's a very good play caller. He was with LSU a few years back. And I think that our run game with James Conner back this week, it's going to really boost us and put us in position to take the clock, run away with this game, and stop Josh Allen as much as possible. TJ Watt has been a beast all year. We don't have Robert Spillane and Vince Williams. Dawson Knox may have a great game this week. We cannot cover tight ends for some reason, but I think it's going to be a close game. Josh Allen has been great this year. We can send the pressure, win games, and stop being conservative offensively. Let's throw the ball downfield. We have great playmakers in Chase Claypool.
Mookie says hello. He has love for you, so he's not going to come after you. Trust and believe he's watching. So you're blessed, young man. Daniel, let the people know where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Facebook on NFL's Greatest Debate Room on Facebook and on my Facebook page, Some Steeler Fan. And here we go to this. Let's try to go 12 and 0. 12, not 12 and 0, 12 and 1.
Right on, right on. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Now, last but not least, I wrote a nice little article about the Tampa Bay Bucks and how they can take advantage of that weak Minnesota secondary. But I'm not going to pick on a team without having the representative in the house. Please bring in Colin Ireland.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm fine. Working, writing. I'd rather be hunting and fishing, but that's neither here nor there. Colin, you and I have some business to attend to.
Yeah, I believe we do. How about those Bears?
Oh, you got jokes. That's funny. Eric, you in the house? We need a moderator.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, good, Eric. How you doing?
Oh, I'm better than the two of you are right now. I'll just say that. At least I know where my team's going, pretty much down the drains. You two, I guess as they say, so you're saying there's a chance. Don't know what's going to happen, but I guess time will tell. Gentlemen, you know how we get down here at the Carousel. Who is the home team, sir? My apologies, I'm unsure. So, sir, okay. Oh, so it figures the host would get the last word, but we know what time it is. Let me go ahead and do this. Colin, sir, 90 seconds. And I'm going to let you go ahead and do your thing. Please bring – sorry. Please – wait, I can't. Just talk about Dalvin Cook. There we go.
What's there not to say about Dalvin Cook? Best running back in the NFL, not named Derrick Henry. About the same. They got the Rookie of the Year in Justin Jefferson. Unlike Tampa Bay, who they may have 15 guys they can throw the ball to, Brady just can't seem to figure out one guy to throw the ball to. That's just what it is. I don't know if we've got a chance in this game or not. As much as Alex likes to bag on my secondary, Cameron Dantzler was the NFC Rookie of the Week. Had an interception and a fumble recovered and stripped. So I get that we play Jacksonville. It's what it is. You aren't playing somebody who's under 500 other than what? The Raiders and who's the other team that you beat that was over 500? Oh, yeah. I think there was one other team that you beat. Hold on. Let me take a
Green
look
Bay,
here.
the team that keeps beating you up.
Oh, you mean the team that didn't beat us up in Lambeau where Dalvin Cook went for 4 TDs? You mean that Green Bay team that can't stop the run, like James Robinson going for 100? That's fine. Whatever. We're playing with house money right now. Right now, we are in the 7th spot, and we're kind of on your heels for that 6th spot. So we'll see what happens. If Brady can figure out maybe 3 guys to throw to out of the 10 that he has, maybe they'll figure it out. We'll see. But I love how you bag on my secondary. It's fine. Gladney and Cameron Dantzler are rookies, so let's see how it goes.
Wow, Alex. He brought up the fact that you got too many mouths to feed. I believe somebody wrote an article about that. But my brother, you got 90 seconds. Do your thing.
I wrote this nice little piece for you, Colin. I hope you pick it up. It's in the black neighborhood. Don't be afraid. You'll be safe. It's basically saying how Minnesota doesn't stand a chance if Antonio Brown actually starts getting the damn football. Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins, but I don't need to tell you this. When was the last time Kirk Cousins won a primetime game? Oh, yeah, that's right. That was this year against the Bears. He's now 1-9 on primetime. You have nothing to worry about. The game's at 1 o'clock. Here's what you have to worry about. That secondary's piss poor trash. And Antonio Brown is a number 2-3. He's going to make y'all look silly. I'm glad you brought up James Robinson, because if James Robinson can break up for 120 plus yards, what do you think Rojo's going to do? Hey, we do have too many weapons. You don't have a linebacker that can cover Gronk. I think Mike Evans is going to eat you up. You put a safety over the top, Antonio Brown is going to beat you deep. And I'd like to take Brady's old ass over Kirk Cousins' punk ass. I mean, Minnesota being 6-6, you guys started 1-5. You won 5 of your last 6 games, and nobody's scared of Corona or Adam Thielen. I'm glad he's got double-digit touchdowns, because that's the only thing double-digit he's going to see all year. 721's nice. I'm more worried about Justin Jefferson. We're going to stop the run. We're going to hit Dalvin Cook in the mouth. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Expect to be a double-digit loss on Sunday, sir.
Oh.
Wow. So you knew, Colin, that he was going to try and, bring all the noise and bring all that smoke, because you know he wanted. But do me a favor with 45 seconds, sir. Please knock that chip off his shoulder.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the Vikings beating Chicago Bears in primetime. Kind of curious how Tampa did against Chicago in primetime itself. I guess that didn't work out so well, did it? You saying you can stop Dalvin Cook? A lot of people have said they can stop Dalvin Cook. Many have tried, but few have succeeded. So I guess we'll have to see how that goes. As far as Ronald Jones, who? I'm sorry. And, oh, by the way, guy to cover Mr. Gronkowski would be a guy named Eric Kendricks, all-pro middle linebacker. He'll be back this week, so guess we'll see how that turns out. Antonio Brown, yeah, he might be the guy we have to stop. I think you have a better receiver than Tyler Johnson. And by the way, Mike Evans is out for the game. Sorry to remind you of that.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Alex,
no, I knew that Mike Evans was out. That's why Chris...
I'm sorry. Let me do this real quick. Alex, he's telling you about your squad. That's what I heard. I heard him telling you about your squad. 45 seconds, sir, Mr. Host of the Carousel. Floor is yours.
Mike Evans doesn't play against scrubs. You got nobody on your squad that even reminds him of Marcus Lattimore. We can actually afford for him to sit and heal while Chris Godwin takes over 1A, while Antonio Brown takes over 1B. I'm glad you mentioned Tyler Johnson, because he's a red zone threat, if you didn't know. But then again, you're from Minnesota. You know what those Gophers are about. We have a better offensive line than you. That's why we protect Brady more than Kirk Cousins. Your secondary gives up touchdowns 3-to-1 ratio when it comes to pass versus the run. Running game is going to be key. But then again, I wrote that in the article too. Don't worry, nobody's going to jump you if you go after it. Look, you guys are barely 500. You guys are garbage. You have a better record than Chicago. You at least accomplished something. Listen for the cannons.
Well, gentlemen, we shall see how this all plays out on Sunday. Mr. Ireland, if you would take 30 seconds, sir, and grace us with where the world can get to know you a little better.
Well, I am a Facebook contributor to a site called NFC North Domination. You can look me up there. I'm a trivia champion on it. So anytime you want a duel, that's cool by me.
All righty. Mr. Ireland, thank you so much, sir. Mr. Fleming, I'm going to go ahead back to doing my duties and let you close out the show. But we do have a special guest in the building. I'm sure you already know this. So, Mr. Ireland, thank you, sir. And Mr. Fleming, floor is back to you.
I want to bring in the special guest so we could close out the show properly. Bring him out. Bring him out.
My man, Mr. Fleming.
How you doing, Mr. Thompson?
You know what? We're right away from NBA season, but I'm on the carousel, so it's football time. So it's time to talk football.
All right. 2 questions because we're running out of time. We'll meet next week. We'll talk next week.
I'm not worried about that.
You got the Chargers, who was utterly embarrassed versus the New England Patriots. Cam Newton with middle school numbers was able to hang 45 on the Chargers. They're coming in hungry. What's the plan?
You know what? In Atlanta's case, it's really about staying healthy. Last week was really Julio Jones staying healthy. One of the things that makes Matt Ryan a successful quarterback is having his best receiver on the field. Yeah, Cam Newton did put up basically middle school numbers or Pee-wee football or, PAL football numbers last week against the Chargers, but really it was all about defense and special teams. I don't think they get 2 special teams touchdowns or defensive touchdowns this week against Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta gets that against the Chargers. The one thing that you have to see from the Chargers' perspective is that they throw the ball effectively down the field. Justin Herbert's the rookie of the year, and that's even if Joe Burrow doesn't go down with injuries. He's been the best rookie in the class this year. No offense, Justin Jefferson, but he's worked more with less. And now Austin Eckler is now getting himself back in the swing of things. Atlanta has a lot to worry about, especially with Eckler coming out of the backfield. They've struggled over the last couple of years with running backs, even though they see them on a regular basis that can run and catch at the same time. Remember, the Falcons are a division that has Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey that they see 4 times a year. And even Ronald Jones at times can catch the ball. So Atlanta should be used to what Austin Eckler brings. The problem is Deion Jones is going to have to be the one carrying them all day. And if that's the case, then you have Hunter Henry coming down the field for San Diego, or for Los Angeles. It's going to be a rough game for Atlanta, but remember, Atlanta better not do the same play calling they did at the end of the game last week against New Orleans. That was atrocious play calling. That was arguably some of the worst play calling Atlanta's had, literally, and I'm going to say at least going back into, I'm going to say the Dan Reeves days. That final series was just atrocious in the red zone. So I think Atlanta puts up points because, as we know, the Chargers give up points. So I think Atlanta takes this one. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. That's definitely.
I was going to mention that Justin Herbert, your secondary. Let's be real with each other, bro. How are y'all planning on slowing him down?
Well, the good news is when you play a division where everybody throws the ball anyway, you get kind of used to it. The one thing Atlanta has to do well is Grady Jarrett and company, Grady Jarrett and Fowler and those guys, they have to get to the quarterback. When we got to the quarterback, look what it did against Oakland. The game that Atlanta had their best, I say their best game as a front four, literally in 2 years, they took a Raiders team that's headed to the playoffs and dismantled them. The Raiders have one of the better offensive lines in the league and very underrated. They scored 6 points. Why? Atlanta pressured the quarterback. Brady Jarrett down the middle, and everybody's coming from the sides to pressure. If Atlanta can duplicate that, the same pressure they did against Oakland, Herbert is going to make mistakes because Herbert's a rookie. You only can throw to Keenan Allen so many times in one game. And A.J. Terrell's actually gotten better. I dogged Atlanta for making the selection after watching Jamar Chase continue to score points on him. I think he scored another touchdown in that national championship game last year against LSU and Clemson. He's gotten better. I don't think he'll shut down Keenan Allen, but as much as as Herbert targets Allen, there's going to be a player so I think Terrell might make a big play. I think Atlanta wins. It's a close one, but this will prepare us for the same team that gave you guys a scare in your own building. And Justin Herbert's second or third game as a starter?
Hey, you know what? That's all right. We got a W out of that game. I'm going to be watching that game patiently this Sunday. Are you free next week? Because you and I have some unfinished business.
You know what? The thing is, I'm on sabbatical, but just for you, I will show up for the carousel. I will stop what I'm doing. Literally, because the NBA, because preseason's next week. I will literally, if I'm covering a Hornets game, I will stop covering the Hornets game just so I can meet you at the Carousel. Don't worry. You don't need a ticket. I already paid for it. You don't worry about coming to the amusement park. I'm the main attraction. I'll see you next week.
Either you're on or you're off.
Or you're off.
Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the Carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock 'em out. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the Carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock 'em out.